Our learning target for today is I can evaluate expressions with decimals. Okay, so we'll be on page 24. You're probably going to need a calculator in today's work. I'm going to use one, so you maybe would want to grab one as well. So if you haven't picked up a calculator, you may want to grab one now. All right, so we're going to talk about some definitions. So variable. What is a variable? You know that a variable is a letter that represents an unknown. You've been doing variables probably since maybe 4th grade. I think in elementary school sometimes you would use a box to indicate something that's unknown. We've since replaced it with a variable. But you know what a variable is. It's something that is used to represent an unknown in math. So we use a letter. You know that substitute means to take out the letter and replace it with the number. We've talked about substitution in a game. So we're going to sub in a basketball game. That means somebody's coming out and somebody's going in. In math, we're going to have the letter come out. Always the letter has to come out. Number goes in. And evaluate means to solve. Evaluate means to solve. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and evaluate the following examples. Now, if that was too fast, I'll go ahead and give you some space or let you see the whole screen there so you can get those definitions in on the top. What I'm going to have you do in everything we do in the bottom examples today, wherever there's a variable, we're going to replace it with a parenthesis so that we know we have to substitute in that spot. So we're going to have parenthesis for the M plus parenthesis for the Q plus parenthesis for the Q. So that's what we're evaluating. We are going to use our calculator in today's work. So I'm going to substitute the 2.1 in the M spots and the 0.8 in the Q spot. So we have an M of 2.1. So we're going to put a 2.1 in the M spot. In the Q spot, we're going to put 0.8 in both of the Q spots. And then I'm just going to pick up my calculator and go ahead and add those up. So we have 2.1 plus 0.8 plus 0.8. And that gives us 3.7. Everyone should have 3.7 as their answer there, 3.7. Okay, group. Moving on to example 2. In example 2, we have 5 multiplied by x multiplied by y on the top. Here we go, guys. Come on, let's go. In the bottom, we have z plus y in the bottom. So notice I have 4 parentheses because I have 4 variables. I'll go ahead and highlight them so you can see where they are. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 variables. Therefore, I have 4 parentheses in that representing those variables. All right, here we go. So we have x in that top spot, which is -1. So we're going to put a -1 for x. And the y value is -0.8. Down in the denominator, the z value is 0.6. And the y value is -0.8. All right, in that numerator, then we have some triangle stuff going on, but we're going to use our calculator for that. So we have 5 times -1 times -0.8. Go ahead and type that in. 5 times -1 times -0.8 gives me a whole number of 4. We get a 4 in that numerator. Go ahead and use your calculator there. In the denominator, it's kind of like saying I have 60 cents plus -80 cents should be -20 cents or -0.2. Okay, well, let's go ahead and divide that out. 4 divided by -0.2 gives us ooh, did I make a mistake there? 4 divided by -0.2 gives us -20. Answer should be -20. -20. And you'll notice that that answer actually changed a little bit. Some kids will wonder why, when we divide by a decimal, why did it go to 20? That seems really weird to me. We can talk about in class why that happens. Sometimes that catches kids off guard. Okay, so moving on to the next example. So if you want to talk about why that happened in class, definitely ask me about that. Example 3. In example 3, we're going to parenthesis all of our work there. So we have an x plus parenthesis for the z divided by -4. Go ahead and get that set up. Parenthesis for the x, parenthesis for the z. All right, guys, here we go. Substitution then kicks in. So we're going to parenthesis for the x, we have a value of 0.6. In our parenthesis for a z, we have -0.1. Go ahead and use your calculator to clean this up. So we have 0.6 plus -0.1 divided by -4. I'm going to actually go ahead and type this in baby steps just to make sure I don't make any mistakes here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this in my calculator, parenthesis, negative 0.1, divide by negative 4, and that gives me 0.025. And then when I add those together, 0.6 plus 0.025 is 0.625. I just wanted to make sure I didn't make any errors in inputting that in my calculator. So I kind of took some baby steps on that. Make sure that you're getting 0.625, and then let's move on to example 4. Notice in example 4, we have these jail bar problems. I'm not going to use a parenthesis on this one because it is a jail bar. When it comes out, it's going to turn positive. So we have jail bar with a negative 4.4 on the inside, plus 3. Now there's my parenthesis. The parenthesis goes for the p-value, which is 4.8. All right, group, order of operations says we have to do all jail bars first. Remember, in the order of operations, parentheses really means parentheses, jail bars, and square roots. We have to do that first. So we'll do the jail bar first. We pull out of jail. We pull out of jail gives us a nice 4.4. Plus, I'm going to go ahead and put that in my calculator. 3 multiplied by 4.8 gives me 14.4. We add that up. Answer is 18.8. 18.8. Okay, group, keep hanging on there. 2 left before our summary. So now we have another jail bar problem. Here's our problem. Everything else is just a substitution information. We have an x minus a y in jail, an x minus a y in jail. All right, guys, let's go ahead and solve that now. I'm going to stop chop it, even though you might be putting in your calculator. All of this is living in jail. That gives me negative 10.2. You can go ahead and type that in. You better be getting negative 10.2 as well. But notice it's still in jail. I haven't taken it out of jail yet. The jail bars are there yet. So then I'm going to go ahead and pull out of jail. When we pull out of jail, it's always positive. The absolute value of negative 10.2 is positive 10.2. Done. Answer should be positive 10.2. Okay, guys, last example of the day. I just want you to point out to you that there is a multiplication dot there. Maybe kind of hard to read. So this is what I'm rewriting. Everything else is for substitutions. We have negative 2, parenthesis, giant multiplication sign, parenthesis, divide by 2. Come on, hang in there, guys, with me. Q value is negative 5.2. The P value is 0.1. Okay, group, here we go. Multiplication happens first, left to right, because we have multiplication in there 3 times. Here's 1 multiplication, 2 multiplication, and we have a division sign. Remember, in the order of operation, these are tied. We work them left to right. So whichever one shows up first is going to win. In that case, it's multiplication. Otherwise, you can just input that all in your calculator. I'm going to actually do it by hand here. So we're going to go negative 2 times negative 5.2 is 10.4. Again, you might be just dump it in your calculator. That's fine. If you haven't used it, drag it down. I'm going to drag all that stuff down. As I'm working left to right then, 10.4 multiplied by 0.1 gives me 1.04. If I haven't used it, drag it down. So we have 1.04 divided by 2 gives me 0.52. Go ahead and check your work there. Make sure we're on the same page, 0.52. Fabulous. For our summaries today, make sure that we substitute. First, substitute for the letter. And after we do that, make sure we're using the order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Your homework for tonight is to do page 25, due tomorrow. So your homework for tonight is to do page 25. Have a fabulous night.